Every year we get new units in Fire Emblem Heroes that are beloved by some more than others, we'll say. I think that's a fair way of putting it. Traditionally on the channel, which I guess it's been 2 years now. So I guess 2 simultaneous years is technically a tradition, right? I like to mark the end of the year by going through my annual favorite units that get released that year. And this year I decided to break it down into categories. I don't think that I did that last year. I may have just gone by month, or I may have just done the top 10. I don't remember, but I feel like this makes a little more sense because it makes me think a little bit harder. So I decided to do it this way. If you'd like to play along, there should be a tweet pinned in the top comment of this video that has a template. If you want to make your own, you want to share it, totally up to you. Or if you just want to put it in the comments, if you just want to list them out, that's fine too. There's 8 categories, all of which I feel like are a little bit different and don't at all let me cater to put a certain someone on here twice. But without further delay, let's take a look back at the year through these 8 units that I have decided in this year's 2021 favorites. Pun intended. I know. I'm cringe. I don't care. Alright, first up. New. So this is a category that basically goes out to a new hero in a new hero banner, right? So anybody that got added to the 5-star normal pool. Or I guess 4-star normal pool too. Anybody that got added to the normal pool in the year. And this time it goes to Volk. Volk was probably one of my more anticipated Broheims to get in here, and he finally did. We're still waiting for Stefan. I highly anticipate Stefan to take this spot next year, because frankly, I'm running out of new heroes that I'm genuinely interested in getting outside of Rhea. The new heroes category specifically has started to lose a little bit of its edge for me. So I'm kind of just chilling, man. I'm waiting for like more resplendence. I'm waiting for more ascended units. Basically just alts. I'm living in alt purgatory now because a lot of the new hero banners that I have been waiting for have happened. So I'm just out here. I'm out here vibing, man. Waiting for Stefan. That's it. The Volk made it in this year. Unfortunately, he did have a brand new inheritable special for daggers. So he will be on the fire list for many this year, but not for me. For me, he makes my new hero 2021 debut very, very meaningful, very worthwhile. The next category is special. So as you might imagine, you have new heroes, you have special heroes. These are any kind of special hero banner. Anybody that came out on a special hero banner this year. And I was waiting for a while. I was like, I wonder who will pique my interest this year. And Pirate Vika was pretty close. There were I guess the Plegian banner with Dorothea, that was kind of cool. I liked the concept of that, even though it was basically just pure fan service. And then there was also, you know, the Scion banner, right, where we took a little glimpse into the world of Yggdrasil and got to see a festive in that term. Those are all really cool concepts, and I really liked them. However, I didn't know that my favorite special hero this year would come from a banner that I have historically disliked. Outside of the likes of Mia and Ileana and Kagero, despite what my wife says. This year it goes to Halloween Rhea. Easily. I mean, bro. Nothing else came close. Literally nothing else came close. Pirate Vika actually was kind of close, but this was it. This was it for me, bro. Her art was amazing. She looks honestly pretty close to like normal Rhea, Like, it's not that far of a stretch. The hat is obviously like a thing, but overall the color scheme is still pretty similar. The dress beading and stuff, like, that all looks pretty similar. So if we never get normal Rhea, if we never get Archbishop Rhea, okay, I can at least live happily knowing we got really close. Okay. We got really, really close. And that's honestly good enough for me. But I suspect that she will eventually get in as a normal hero. Or maybe even the GHB, which would be fantastic. Speaking of which, the next category is actually reward. So reward units are basically what a lot would consider to be called free-to-play units. But reward units are basically anything that you can get as an in-game reward. So we saw something similar with the likes of Muriel, for example, where if you complete some quests, you get a copy. GHBs, Tempest Trials, stuff like that, right? Anything you can get for free. I genuinely think that we had a clear winner in Yanfei, but I didn't pick him. I know that he's probably a lot of people's favorite reward unit this year, and with good reason. He is probably like one of the best units, let alone free to play, in the game right now. To release him with like, what does he have? He has damage reduction. He's got distant counter. Like, he's insane. And you just get him. You just get him. In fact, I'm probably gonna plus 10 him on the free to play account just so I can clear more stuff. To be honest. So yeah, it's not Yanfei though. It's, look, I know he's bad, okay? You don't have to tell me that he's bad, okay? Look, I know that he's bad, but I don't care. I have been... Can I use his actual name? I shouldn't use his actual name, should I? That's probably a bad idea. I have been waiting for Bertram to get into the game for like a really long time, and it's unfortunate. I think lacking a preferred is a hindrance for him, if I may be blunt. He's also a sword cav, which, you know, there's a lot of competitive angles here. If you're going free to play specifically, you got to look at normal Ellawood, who is, you know, pretty available for the most part, and super good, and resplendent stats, etc. So, you know, I mean, there's reasons to dislike, but I genuinely like him. I like not spoiling things, so I guess I'll leave it at that. I can't really go into too much detail on him, actually. Sorry. Resplendent. Speaking of resplendents, this one came late, bro. There weren't a lot that I got super excited for. We had Mikaya early on, and then we had, you know, resplendents like Alencia this year, which were great. We had Ike, Brave Ike specifically, which was odd. I'm assuming that they will probably do Lynn this year for the anniversary, because I think Ike showed up in February. So I'm assuming we're actually going to see resplendent Brave Lynn sometime similar. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point being, there was a resplendent that came by this year that knocked literally everything else out of the park, and it was Ishtar. Ishtar looks so good. The attack animation, everything is so sick on her, and it's just incredible. I love big hurdy lightning animation, and this definitely has that. I hope that May has something similar, the queen of big hurdy lightning. I hope that she has some kind of similar animation, but I'm not particularly hopeful. But I am also hopeful because I'm full of copium on this day. So here's hoping that we actually do see something like that for her. But Ishtar, hands down, like this is easily my favorite resplendent in the game, which I know is very controversial, but she's definitely up there in the ranks with units like Brave Cordelia, who I think is like an S plus tier as well. So love resplendent Ishtar, can't say enough about her. Love it, love it, love it. And I think we can all appreciate, even if we don't have Fade Pass and we don't have, you know, the Resplendent themselves, I think we can all just appreciate the Resplendent art that comes along, right? So with that, the Remix Refine category, I actually, in my head, call the Makeover category because it's anybody this year that got a Refine or maybe a new Prefer or just hit the Remix banner, like with the Legendaries and stuff. Something along those lines. And you might think, oh, well, there was a lot of good stuff this year. And there was. Your due, specifically for refines, was not safe. They also started kind of remixing older legendary heroes, which was great. We got to see a lot of, like, Ryoma went from, like, bottom tier to top tier very quickly. And suddenly I wasn't as upset that I had all of those legendary Ryomas just hanging out, just collecting dust, and we actually use him now, and he's amazing. But I think my winner for this category this year is actually going to be Gunthra. Not only did she get remixed, she also got refined, as all of the older original 8, I think we're up to like 12 now, speculatively, that have gotten a weapon refine, and they got remix skills to make them more useful in the current game state. Dude, she just wins. Gunthra just wins, bro. I don't really know what else to say other than, like, her refine was great. Her remix was fine. I don't know that I actually used it because I went speedy Gunthra, so I think she got like attack res solo or something, and like joint drive something. I don't know. I don't remember. Point being, her B got upgraded, right? Her B passive got crazy upgraded. Her weapon is just insane. Everything is so good on her. And I was very happy to have been able to plus 10 her after years of holding on to a plus speed Gunthra and finally making it a reality. Debut. Debut is a very interesting category because I tried to think of something to accommodate, because like maybe there's one in here that you guys really like and that I really like, but you know, there's just too much. There's just too much, because if you think about it, we have a normal banner, we have a special banner, we have a legendary mythic banner every month, sometimes more than that, like in January, where we're likely to get 2 special banners, a normal banner, and then you know, a mythic. So like maybe there's just too much stuff. So debut, I thought, was a nice little just a kind of a meeting in the middle, so to speak. So the debut category is for any character who had their first appearance, whether they were special, right? So like Vika, for example, wasn't in the game, but she showed up as a special hero. Whether it was Priam, who showed up as a new hero, right? Hadn't been in the game prior. Debut is basically for anyone's first initial showing. And you know who this is. Saros, hands down. Like, my favorite mythic, easily. But the mythic category, legend category, got a little bit crowded this year. I can't really... I don't know. I just think Saros is really cool. I know I'm in a minority camp there. Alright, I understand that. But gosh darn, it's my list, and I'll do what I like. Please and thank you. No, I do it anyway. No thank you needed. Yeah, so Saros is great. I love Saros. I love just everything. Animation, voice lines, everything is good. There's well, I mean, there's some bad. Okay, there's some bad. But we're not going to talk about that right now. We're just going to look past that. Okay, we're going to conveniently just side shuffle all of the bad and just talk about the good, and it's everything. So Saros came out, bam, right at the beginning of the year. I had such a hard time. I had just so many Dimitri nightmares getting her, and we did end up plus 10ing her, which was probably one of the ongoing accomplishments in my YouTube career that has been documented, which is pretty hype. But the legendary mythic category was tough, man. Like, I really loved the concept behind Sigurd. I really loved Saros, obviously. I loved Thor. Thor coming in like last minute, kind of out of nowhere, was kind of amazing. Loved that. But there was one particular that I had been waiting literal years for. In fact, the Legendary Heroes, as soon as Ike came out, I was like, oh, well, then that means we must not be too far away from you-know-who. Little did I know it would take over 3 years from that point forward for her to actually show up, and it was awesome. I had never put more effort into hyping up a summon video in my life, and I probably never will again. This was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So if you were here for that, you witnessed something, and nobody can take that away from you. I'm talking about Legendary Mikaya, and unfortunately, I know there were a lot of people who were also excited for me, and maybe just had like brain funk, right? Where they were like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't look at leaks or data mines, and he doesn't like to be spoiled on stuff because, you know, he does reaction content, and also he really likes Mikaya, so like, you know, maybe let him find out on his own." No. There were a handful of people who just took the day off that day and were like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna tell him." And so there were people like literally DMing me and adding me on Twitter and coming into my live stream chats, and like some of it was ill intent, I will be honest, but not all of it was. And so I recognize that not all of it was ill intent. Some of you guys were just way too excited. So the official reveal did get ruined for me, unfortunately. I knew that she was coming ahead of time, but I decided to take that opportunity and produce like a trailer, right, for the summon session to come out, which I couldn't have turned around in like a day otherwise. There were some things that I got to do that I couldn't do normally, and so I took a shoddy situation and I made it, you know, something unique that I couldn't do under other circumstances. So that in itself was kind of cool, and I appreciated doing that. But Legendary Mikaya for sure. But there were a lot of banger legendaries and mythics this year. The Jotun sisters are great. Love them. I like them more than the Nidavellir people, which were the focus of the book, which is odd. I don't usually. Anyway, point being, there were a lot of banger mythics and legendaries this year, and so Legendary Mikaya came in a tough year, but unfortunately she just wins out no matter what. And then the final category, duo and harmonized. This one's gonna throw y'all for a loop, I think, because I don't think anyone's expecting me to pick this, who I did. So obviously the duo harmonized unit is going to be a special banner exclusive. We only get like 12, maybe 13 of these guys a year. So it's a very small category, right? Kind of similar to legendaries and mythics. We don't get that many per year, and they're divided most times by halves. So each category gets like maybe 6 or 7 per year. There weren't that many duo or harmonized units I was like super hyped on. Like last year we had Altina, which was really, really cool. There wasn't anybody this year that was like particularly overly exciting. Like I'm a Dorothea fan. Okay, so when we got Pelagian Dorothea, I was like, yo. But then I stopped to think beyond the fan service. Like, what if I looked at these objectively and was just like, yeah, okay, for sure, this, and 2 came to mind, one of which was Hinoka and Camilla, because there's a lot of little details in there that are, I think, unless you look for them, it's a little bit odd, like the braids in the hair. Just check the braids in the hair if you don't know what I'm talking about. There's just fun little details like that that are hidden in that particular. Are they a duo or harmonized? I don't know. Harmonized, we'll call them that. But this year, I mentioned it earlier. I think the Scion Festival was a really cool concept. And while I didn't pull too much on the banner, it's because I got the boys so early on. I had to give it to them. Bro, I had to give it to them. The concept is really cool. I think it's really interesting that they're using a banner to kind of like inform some lore on the individual game that the characters come from. And I wish that they would do it more often. you know? Because when I think back, right? Like if you think back to the typical dance banner, really, it was just like, it was more of like a cultural banner, really. It was like an arts banner, which I can appreciate. This one in particular, though, it did kind of like what the Pledgian thing was, except there wasn't some like cheesy, oh, Grima, there wasn't there wasn't just this plot narrative to get them there. There was actual like context to it in terms of like, yes, this is a festival to celebrate the 12 Scions, yada yada. And so it actually put them in their normal world, like celebrating what they normally would. And I think that's really cool. And I hope that they do more stuff like that in the future. And so they may have funny outfits, right? And they are OP. Like, dude, Harmonized Leaf is kind of like insane. But Leaf Self, it was cool. And I don't really have a big tie to the Yggdrasil games, which I think is probably why you guys will probably be like, huh, he picked that? But I think it is beating out all the other stuff. I think this is probably like the really cool concept that I hope we see more of in the future. So this year it gets my vote, for sure. But I will tell you one thing. If Bride Mikaya were this year, she would win. Hands down, she would win. But yeah, that was a cool little surprise. And I was, if they were going to replace the annual dance banner, I'm glad that they at least did it something kind of creative like this, because I think that's kind of cool. Especially with older games that, people aren't familiar with because they were never localized outside of Japan. Intelligent systems. Anyway, those are my 2021 favorites. I apologize that this video went a little long. I tend to get very yakety yak when I'm talking about my favorites. And this year we actually had 2 Yggdrasils, which is hype. We had 2 here. Well, we had 3 Tellius, I guess technically. We had 2 from 3 houses, who are technically the same. And then we had Gunthra, who's an OC. So that's pretty good. Not the most diverse group that I maybe could have come up with, but I am happy with it nonetheless. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below, or you can take a look at the pinned comment and make your own. Share it on Twitter or Instagram. I think I fitted it to work for both. You're welcome. But yeah, that is it for now. And if you do a graphic, tag me in it so I can see, or like use the hashtag 2021 favorites, and I'll find it that way. But that is it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Heroes as much as I did this year. It was a good time, I think, overall. Everybody was pretty happy with it. But that is as much commentary as I will make on that right now, because they also did a lot of dumb, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching. Subscribe, come back for more, and until then, I will catch you next time.